Let's have a look at this bunkhouse. Hi folks, this is Mark with BusyDadRVLife.com. Today I'm going to bring you a review of this 2010 Gulfstream Independence 8359. Starting in the master suite of this Gulfstream Independence 8359 bunkhouse, we can notice that the rear sleeping area actually doesn't have two opposing slides, and when I see that, that normally tells me that this is a short queen or a short king. So anyone over 6'3", you might have some feet hanging issues on this bed in the back. Now for storage, it's a pretty good amount. It looks like we've got mirrored wardrobe on either side. A TV appears to be missing up there up top. And there's some storage down there at the bottom. What I did notice is that there is not a rear AC in this unit. So usually in a Class A of this length, I'm accustomed to seeing a double AC setup with a front and rear thermostat. But in this case, we have a thermostat, but it must be just prepped for AC. So that's the first time I've seen that in a while. Moving to the kids' bunks. This is pretty standard fare for a Class A bunkhouse. They're putting a slide on the side, on the curb side if you will, and you have top and bottom with curtains for privacy. Now in this particular unit there isn't curtains over the glass. I expect that's because the previous owner didn't or took them off. What's also a nice touch here for the kids is a TV across from the bunk setup. That's in contrast to what you might see in other floor plans where there are drop-down DVD players for each bunk. Moving to the kitchen area, this looks like an 8 cubic foot Dometic refrigerator, which to me is pretty much the minimum traveling with family these days. Anything that's got a 6 cubic foot fridge is really not going to be that much. We can burn through all the food in our 8 foot fridge in just about a week. Standard freezer up top, no ice maker. It's nice to see a convection microwave in a unit like this, so it's pretty good size, close to residential for living on the road. Typically when they do that in the floor plan, they give up the oven underneath the stove. So you lose the ability to cook with propane, but you get that extra storage. Moving forward to the living area, standard street side super slide, couch and dinette. This is not a U-shaped dinette, just your standard box style, not freestanding either. So this could fold down. And this should also be a sofa bed that folds down. It's really nice up front here that you get sometimes if you have a Class A that's long enough is a recliner. This is a feature I really like in ours. There's just no substitute for being able to put your feet up at the end of the day. And leather captain's chairs up front. These are some of the nicer chairs I've seen in Class A. Our Tiffin actually, when you sit in those seats, you realize that when you sit in those seats for an extended period of time, you realize that the soft foam that you liked initially isn't going to last you another 2 hours down the road. It's also a fairly decent cockpit area. All the controls are oriented towards the driver, which can be good and bad. With the GPS stereo combo, it looks like up front there, it's going to have a hard time. It would be difficult for the passenger to reach over there and adjust. The generator is within reach. And what's nice is a pull-out table for the passenger. And both sides appear to have a map reading light. Gulfstream does the top up front a little bit different than everybody else. They're offsetting the TV to one side, which is kind of nice if you're using that, or if you're trying to see it from the living area. This shower stall is really nice for a big guy. So if you're 6'3" and need some elbow room, there's a pretty good amount of space here for you. And it's a glass, or at least a solid surround instead of a curtain. So you've got a nice space here for the end of the day. Nothing special here with the toilet or sink, a little bit of counter space. Plastic toilet, not porcelain. And a fairly decent medicine cabinet. Stainless steel faucet, plastic surround, and a decent amount of space underneath the sink. What you're missing here, what I've seen in other floor plans, is linen space. So there's no place inside here, at least designated for your towels. So you're gonna have to find some place inside here or bring it with you. Speaking of storage, let's take a look at every place inside this coach where you can store. Double wardrobe, or 2 wardrobe space, I should say, for the main area. Some cubbies, TV space, fairly deep drawers underneath, nightstand storage on both sides. On one side there is an extra small wardrobe space overhead, and reading lights. Under bed storage, kind of hard to get to. Some people may or may not like this feature, but a rear-facing window, there's a couple different trains of thought on that, a couple different camps, if you will, with the rear window. You have visibility, you have light. At the same time, you have visibility and you have light. If you like to sleep with it totally dark, you might not like that. Speaking of storage in the bedroom, usually in a floor plan like this, with the kids' bunks on the side, you see some kind of storage underneath. And in this case, there isn't any. Now this is kind of a surprise in a motorhome like this. Looking at the materials that are used, looking at it from the outside with the full body paint, I'd expect this to be a slightly higher price point. And with that territory comes certain things you would expect. I would not expect a fabric door here. I would expect some kind of pocket door, something solid. But that's probably the compromise you have to make with the floor plans. I'm not sure what you would do with this to make a long enough pocket door. Back to storage. This is available pantry space next to the refrigerator for the kitchen. Usually you might see pull-out drawers in this case, but not here. There's storage underneath the refrigerator, and that's where a lot of bulky objects may go. And as I said before, if you lose the stove underneath, with when you have the microwave convection on top, that's more storage there. A few drawers to the side. This is what you get underneath the sink. That's probably the only spot for a trash can. Over the counter has a pretty good amount of storage. And this is probably a medium-sized countertop or medium to large for a Class A like this. The sink is like a mini residential, looks like a stainless steel. Another note about up front, if you need some kind of sunshade, this is what you've got, just a pull down front sunshade, sun visor. I'll tell you, we have a roll down shade in the front of our motorhome, and that is very nice for going down the road. And you've got this really big front windshield that lets you see everything. It also lets everything in. And when you got to draw curtains or mess with this little visor, that's just another thing to have to worry about when you're going down the road. All right, so we just had a tour of this 2010 Gulfstream Independence 8359. So Bunkhouse Class A motorhome. And what are the things I don't like about this? Yeah, you know, this is a fairly livable floor plan for a family like ours. Now, I'll be clear, we have a very similar floor plan in a Tiffin, and there's a lot of things about the Tiffin that are similar. Having a recliner up front here is really nice for mom or dad at the end of the day, although it seems like the kids tend to take the recliner more often than we'd like. Bunk beds on the side, you know, that's almost a must these days when you're shopping for a family motorhome or a family RV. The corner shower is really nice for a tall guy like me, wanting a lot of elbow room. Looks like a pretty good amount of storage. The outside storage looks fairly significant. The slam latch doors are a nice feature. Instead of those doors you've got to close and twist those little handles that always get a lot of friction in there, and and the chassis looks like it's on an upgraded at least set of tires. So this chassis is on a 22.5 inch set of tires all the way around. Always like that over the 19.5 inches just for load capacity or safety factor or whatnot. What don't I like? Well, looking up front, I just don't like having those pull around curtains for privacy. You know, I've gotten so used to shades. Even motorized shades would be real nice. And especially up front, having a pull down sun visor like that, when you're fiddling that, when you're going down the road, especially when you're running west to east or east to west, it's a real hassle to fool with those things. I don't like not having storage underneath the kids' bunks. There's probably some, let me take a look. Yeah, so I just double checked and there's no storage for the kids underneath their bunks. So you got to think about where your kids are going to put their things. Not a good thing to me. I don't like the fabric or the curtain divider between the living space and the sleeping space. You know, if you've got a small one that's in one of those bunks and they're a real light sleeper and you're trying to watch a movie out here, probably not the best when you're trying to keep things separate. So that's about all I can think of for this floor plan. Again, you know, not so bad, but this is a higher price point. This is probably I'm guessing a middle price point for a Class A gas motorhome. And there's some things about this that I think maybe you may get a little more features in another model, but you know, this is the used market we're talking about. This is a 2010, so it all depends on the kind of deal you can get. So, again, this is Mark with BusyDadRVLife.com. Thanks for stopping by and watching this. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this, like the video. If you want to see more, subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And if anything else, remember to get out and make your memories today with your family.